Hey guys, it's Russ from Crafter CMS, and today we're going to talk about a very common pattern in CMS implementations called the detail page. And for those who are not familiar with detail page, at a very high level, the pattern is basically used by organizations that have large quantities of objects of the same type that they want to manage and present through a single look and feel, like a product page or what we would call a detail page, right? So you have detail items, the many items like the individual products, and then the single view, the product page. And you want to pass in that detail item into the page and have it presented. Okay. Now, the example that we're going to look at today is one on best movies by far. It's a great website here, and they've got thousands and thousands of movies, and they use the detail page pattern to present those movies. So let's take a look here. So, for example, Casablanca. Let's click on that. You can see here that there's a single URL for the movie, movies Casablanca, and then the year. And it's got a title and a poster and the review and so on. Okay, and if we go to another movie, we're going to see a very similar pattern. So let's go to best movies by far. I'm just going to go back up here to the cover flow, and we'll just click on another movie here, and you can see again the exact same look and feel, and they're pushing the content of that movie item into that page. So every page has its own URL, but in behind the scenes, as we're going to see, it's a single page that's managing all of that. Now, how does this work? Well, we're going to look at the architecture of this, and we're going to look at it in the context of a FreeMarker and Groovy server-side rendered site. But the same pattern works regardless of whether you're doing that or you're working in the context of a React application or Angular, Vue, or any other application. It's just where the view layer is and the types of technologies that you use for that. Okay. But again, we're going to look at it in the context of Groovy and FreeMarker for today. So it all starts with the model. We're going to use the MVC pattern. It all starts with the model. And that is the movie page. It's a single page on the site that gets parameterized, as we see here. So we have a type called movie page. It gets put on a single URL called movie. And then we're going to pass in a movie ID and the ID of the movie. And then we're going to have another type called movie, and we're going to have many, many thousands of instances of that type for each movie. And there's no template associated with these at all. There's no view because this page is going to do all the work for us. It's going to present each one of these, right? So now that we have the page, we need to create a view or a template. So this is actually the view here, and it's a FreeMarker template called Movie Page FTL. And in here, we're going to have our markup. And every time we want to print out the title or the picture of a movie into the page markup, we're going to be able to reference that as movie.title or movie.poster image and so on. And that's how we're going to get that markup, that content into the markup. Okay. And there's all kinds of guides on FreeMarker, so we're not going to go over that in detail. And then in order to get that movie object, we're going to have to provide it to the template through what is called the controller. So the controller's responsibility is to see what's coming into the page on the URL as a parameter, the movie ID, right? And we can see that here. Take that movie ID parameter and pass it into the site item service. Okay, that's what we see here. And get the site item for one of these movies in the catalog. So that gives us a content object for that movie. And we're going to assign it to a variable called myMovie. And then we're going to take that variable and we're going to put it into the template model as movie. And that makes it available to the FreeMarker template. And we can address it and get properties of that content and display it in that single template. So that's all there really is to the detail page pattern. It's really simple and it's really powerful because now we manage each of these objects individually and we manage the presentation of all of those objects in a single place in the site. The only other component is typically some kind of rule that allows each of these items here to have their own unique and very attractive SEO friendly URL, like we see here, /movie/Casablanca, instead of a parameterized single URL, right? That's much better for SEO, and people tend to like it better. So you can have a rewrite rule that takes care of that. Okay, so that's all there is to the technical architecture. Now let's go in and look at this in real life inside of Crafter Studio. So here we are looking at Casablanca. We're looking at the movie detail page. You can see that up here in the toolbar. And you can see there's a movie detail page here under pages. And we've got a movies catalog. And we've got thousands and thousands of movies. And I've got 1942 open. And here's our Casablanca object. So if we open this object, there's no template here, but there's lots and lots of properties for the movie item, right? So there's our images and so on. Okay, perfect. And if we go up and look at the detail page object, you're going to see what we'd expect to see. We're going to see an object that doesn't have a lot of properties of its own because it gets all of its content from the detail item. All right. So this all works really well, and in Crafter there's a great way to mark up the different areas in the content so that the experience builder is actually giving you the ability to edit the content of the detail item rather than the page. So we can see that here as we hover over these items here, we're getting the ability to edit the content of the detail item. Now, the one thing that we see more often than not is that people use a standard way to initialize Experience Builder when they do the detail page pattern, and that leaves the toolbar at the top sort of aware of the detail page rather than the detail item. But most authors, when they would click on the options here, they would expect to be able to easily publish the detail item or edit the detail item or see the history of the detail item and so on. And so what I want to show you here is just a really simple way for you to tell Experience Builder when it inits that you're concerned with the main content of the page that we're looking at here is Casablanca and not the detail page itself. So let's look at how we do that. So we're going to go here to the options, and because it's concerned with the detail page right now, we can actually leverage that to get to edit template. And that's going to load up the detail page template. Now, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here past all this stuff, and I've sort of moved all this other markup away from the view so we can focus on this content right down here. Let me make that a little bit bigger for you. And you can see that this is the default Experience Builder tag for body bottom in FreeMarker. When we're building websites with FreeMarker, we use this tag to kind of insert some initialization logic at the bottom of the page. And by default, it tends to look at the URL that of the page and not the parameters. And so what we want to do is redirect it to say, hey, the parameter, the content on the parameter is the main content. So to do that, I'm going to paste the following markup. So we're going to replace this tag with this version of the tag. All right. And our template or our controller is supplying a variable called movie. So we're going to go ahead and replace this markup here with movie. And we say XB props equals, so the properties of Experience Builder are looking at the object called movie, and if it exists, then the path that XB cares about is movie dot store URL, which actually gives the content ID of movie. So we're basically telling Experience Builder what we care about is that movie object, not the detail page. So let's go ahead and save this template now. And you can see in the background now, if we minimize this and let's zoom back out, we can see that the toolbar now is showing Casablanca and the workflow state of Casablanca and the editing options for Casablanca, which is great because now I can just click edit and I'm editing Casablanca, right? The same is true for shortcut keys. So if we look at shortcut keys here and I say, let's see, for example, open the form with Shift E. If I Shift E, it opens Casablanca for me. So those shortcut keys also are enabled, and XP in general is aware of Casablanca as the main object. And that just enhances the user experience when you're using the detail page. So now we've gone over what the pattern is and also how to make the experience a little bit better for your content authors when you're using this model. Thanks.